Alrighty, and that leads us to our NFL Power Rankings for Week 8. This is what we had coming into the week. We had the 49ers at 10, the Ravens at 9, the Cardinals at 8, the Bucks at 7, the Rams at 6, the Chiefs at 5, the Titans at 4, the Seahawks at 3, the Packers at 2, and our number one team going into this week was the Pittsburgh Steelers. Best defense in the game, decent offense, led by Big Ben. I love it. All right, so we do have a little bit of a mix-up here. We'll start at number 10 and work our way up to number 1. Alrighty, let's get into it. We'll catch flack right off the rip, but our new number 10 team, it's no longer the 49ers. The 49ers are now out of the top 10. We put them in the top 10 for the second time last week, and they did not impress me. Jimmy Garoppolo's once again injured. George Kittle's out for basically the rest of the season. He's out 8 weeks with a broken bone in his foot, so this offense is just dwindling week by week. We saw the line get absolutely obliterated when they faced the Dolphins, and then they had to bench Jimmy Garoppolo then, and then he came back for 2 weeks and looked decent, and then last week, he gets re-injured because the offensive line can't help itself by being trashed, so we have to move them off the top 10. It's just unfortunate what they're going through. Too many injuries, can't put them in the top 10, so our new number 10 team is going to be the Miami Dolphins, y'all. The Miami Dolphins. Our defense is one of the top defenses in the league, folks. That's the main reason why they're on the power rankings. I mean, the defense single-handedly won us 2 games this year. The game against the 49ers and the game last week against the Rams. So our defense is the real deal, folks. I don't know if there's another defense that has single-handedly won the team the game. The Cardinals, it was kind of 50-50, but the defense definitely was a big part of it that one game. And the Steelers, I mean, they're just the real healthy mix of offense and defense. Maybe the last week their defense against the Ravens, those 4 touchdowns were definitely huge. So I mean, Dolphins, we're talking about one of the top defenses in the league, folks, with the Cardinals and the Steelers. So and then Tua, he's only going to get better, folks. I know he didn't put up the yards or the completion percentage or the touchdowns, but when we show the accuracy tomorrow in our film review, you're going to fall in love with the kid. We've got the Dolphins here at number 10. I mean, what other team can we put up here? The Saints, we've seen that story time and time again. They lose first round of the playoffs by something whack, and then they go in an offseason campaign to get a rule fix because they felt hosed by it. Who else do we got? The Colts, once again, Phillip Rivers. I cannot buy him. So the Dolphins, we're going to go with them. We're going to give the Dolphins a shot in the top 10, see what they can make with it. They got the Cardinals next week. That's going to be a huge test to them because both teams are currently in the top 10. So it's the top 10 matchup for the Dolphins. Let's see if they can hang with the best of them. We're going to give them an opportunity here. We've given other teams other opportunities to be in the top 10. The Raiders, the Browns, the Bucks, the Saints, we've given them chances time and time again, and they prove us wrong. So we're going to give the Dolphins a shot here at the number 9 spot. Love their defense, folks, truly do. Alrighty, number 9, we're going to leave the Ravens. Now, it was a decent loss. It was a decent loss. They were on the goal line. They just couldn't get it done. But that's kind of what we're starting to see with the Ravens against the best teams. They don't always perform at their best. Lamar Jackson, 4 turnovers himself. We saw what he did against the Chiefs. Not very good offensively. Just couldn't get it really done until garbage time where it doesn't count anymore. So we see Lamar Jackson not stepping up his game, against the big team. So we have to leave I'm still going to leave them in the top 10, but another, loss against a top 10 matchup, we got to take them out. We've penalized them at number 9. They used to be in the top 5, but now this loss, the Chiefs loss, they're starting to look not that great. We're going to have to put them at number 9 and leave them there. They've got one more chance until they're out. We'll see what happens. But, I mean, talent-wise, the defense is good. I love the coach. Lamar Jackson's, above average. We can all agree. So we're going to leave the Ravens in the top 10 for this week, but we'll leave them at 9. All right, number 8. We've got a new number 8 team. This is going to be the LA Rams. Don't worry, Cardinals fans. Don't worry. They're not out of the top 10. We're moving them up a little bit. But the Rams, I mean, that performance, Jared Goff, I mean, I already know that offense is kind of shaky. But last week, that looked real bad on the road. Another stinker by the Rams. This is kind of, their third stinker this season where they don't put up 20 points and the offense struggles. We saw Jared Goff struggle mightily. 4 turnovers, folks. Luckily for the Rams that Jalen Ramsey didn't play a lot last week, even though it wouldn't really made a difference because the Dolphins defense really couldn't do anything anyway. This was all about the Rams offense once again not being productive. But the Rams defense still pretty solid, still pretty good. Only held the Dolphins to 7 points offensively. 14 points came off of defensive fumble interception returns. 7 points came from special teams punt return. And 7 points came from, a short field. So Tua can just, work with a short field, 30 yards. He can go 30 yards, no problem. So the Rams offense just definitely, it's so hit and miss. It's so shoddy. I say it time and time again because they prove time and time again. I say things multiple times, if I say something last week and I bring it up again, it's because I'm seeing it again, not because I have no facts and I have to, re-talk again. It's because I'm seeing the same things week in and week out. So the Rams offense, man, it's spotty. We move them back a little bit here. We had them at 6. We move them back to 8. I will have to move them out of the top 10 with another loss. We'll move them out, but falling. This Rams team is. It's just their spotty offense. That's all I have to say about it. Their defense is pretty good. I like their coach. I like their quarterback. I do like Jared Goff. I think he's above average, and I can take that. But, the points, they've got to start getting more consistent on offense. Your schemes, you got to start getting some good plays together, get out to better starts. But we move the Rams back to number 8. Can't take all these losses. All right. Here we go. Tampa Bay Bucks at number 7 was last week, but we are going to move another team back. So don't worry, Tampa Bay fans, they're getting moved up a little bit, but we are going to have to move the Green Bay Packers back. I'm sick of Aaron Rodgers 1 week looking good, the next week not. Truly, this is the second time this has happened in the last 3-4 weeks. The game off the bye when he threw 2 interceptions against the Bucks, then he had a good game after that, but then he's back and you're at home and you lose against the Vikings because they ran the ball. What were you game planning for? Were you planning to stop Kirk Cousins? He couldn't do anything the first 7 weeks. What were you game planning for? You decided to stop the pass instead of the run? Why would you do that? Kirk Cousins has been struggling all season. They don't have Stephon Diggs anymore. Dalvin Cook has been the one constant on the offensive side of the ball for the Vikings. So the Green Bay Packers don't game plan for that? They give up 163 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. What the heck was Green Bay Packers planning for? I don't know. So this kind of hit and miss every week, every other week being good, every other week being bad. I'm sick of it once again with the Green Bay Packers. I want to give Aaron Rodgers credit. I want to give this Packers team credit. I really do. But every other week, it's like, what's wrong? Are you not game planning good, or is Aaron Rodgers going to throw interceptions? What's it going to be? So we're going to penalize the Packers here. Folks, they were at 2 last week. I'm moving them all the way down to 7. That loss against the Vikings is truly unacceptable, especially at home, especially with the depleted defense of the Vikings, especially with only putting up 22 points, especially with giving up 163 yards rushing. I really don't know. If I was the Packers, I would literally be like, we're shutting down the run. If Kirk Cousins wants to beat us with his arm, so be it. But we're not going to get beat on the ground. That's 100%. I don't care. We'll get beat through the air. I do not care, but we're not losing to their best weapon, Dalvin Cook. We're taking that away. And if Kirk Cousins beats us, if Kirk Cousins outperforms Aaron Rodgers, then we just live with it. But unfortunately, it was Aaron Rodgers versus Dalvin Cook. And Dalvin Cook, the legs are better than the arm, unfortunately. So we moved back the Packers. I'm sick of it. I'm truly sick of it. I want to see some consistency. That's why we love the Seahawks so much. Very consistent. Even in their losses, Russell Wilson, 3 interceptions. They lose by 3 in overtime last second. Folks, Aaron Rodgers throws 2 interceptions, and they can't do anything past the second quarter. Come on. I'm truly over the Packers, truly. All right, let's go to number 6 now. LA Rams, we moved them back, so we do have a new number 6 team. And we're going to go the Titans here. I thought they would kind of take last week off. I give them last week. They've gone through a lot these last couple weeks, folks. Truly, the COVID, tough schedule. Tough schedule at the time. We know schedules kind of get easier when we have hindsight, but at the time, Bills, Texans. Who was it last week? Our Bills, Texans, Steelers. Folks, truly tough. And then they had the Bengals, so they had all that kind of adversity that they truly overcame. 2-1 in that stretch, overcame all the COVID. So now they kind of had a all right, Bengals. All right, we should be able to beat them. Came out a little slow, unfortunately, and Joe Burrow has been slinging the ball the first 8 weeks, so it's nothing new for him. Titans, we're going to move them back a little bit. Titans, they can't play from behind. That's not their game. Tannehill cannot lead you to multiple fourth quarter comebacks. Yes, we've seen him do that, but those are truly outliers in his game. So Titans need to clean it up a little bit earlier in the game. They're still sticking with Derrick Henry running for 100 yards. Ryan Tannehill is still throwing for like 200 yards every game. So these are good signs for the Titans. Defense, got to step it up a little bit. I mean, you can't let the Bengals go and score 30-plus points on you. You just can't do that. But this Titans team, they're promising. They don't seem spotty to me. They seem very consistent. So we're going to leave them at number 6. Plus, they've beaten some good competition. I still like the Titans, even though they kind of laid a stinker last week against the Bengals. But if everybody else is getting passes, every other teams are getting passes, if the Ravens are getting passes, if the Packers are getting passes, then I'm going to use my pass for the Titans and put them at number 6. So Titans at 6. I love it. All right, number 5 team. We're moving up a team into number 5. So well done to the Cardinals. I mean, they go on a bye, and they go from, what would we have them, 9, 8? And we're going to move them up to number 5 because of other teams being bad and performing not very good. So I still like this Cardinals team. Their defense was emerging those last 2 weeks before the bye, so I'm super excited to see what Budda Baker's got next week. I'm excited to see if this Cardinals defense can perform as well as they have these last 2 weeks before the bye. So that's going to be kind of the one thing I'm going to be looking for the Cardinals. But if their defense is playing as good as they did those last 2 weeks, I'm going to be big on them because that's a great offense. That's a great defense working together. You got to have both in this league. We see the Packers not having a good defense, giving up 28 points to the Vikings and 163 yards on the ground. So, I mean, this Cardinals team can definitely be something dangerous. Kyler Murray, hopefully he cleans up the interceptions a little bit. He plays a little bit better, but I mean, if this defense is going to still play the way that it has, I'm going to like them here in the top 5, absolutely. So Cardinals at number 5. All right, number 4 is going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They've got so many weapons. I do want to see Tom Brady throw to Mike Evans more, but they're still finding ways to win. I'm not penalizing them for a close win last night against the Giants. The Giants play teams close. Bucs, they still win, so that's all you ask for in this league. You play to win the game. Y'all know the quote. So we got the Bucs here at number 4. I'm liking them. I do want to see Tom Brady start opening up the offense a little bit more. Stop with the dink and dunk. You have actual receivers now. Please use them. I know you've played in New England for 20 seasons and you've only had to do dink and dunk because Bill Belichick never got you that A1 wide receiver, except for 2 seasons with Randy Moss. I think it was only 1 season, maybe 2 seasons. But yeah, go back to that Randy Moss season where Randy Moss had an excellent year and start doing that to Mike Evans. Now that AB is here, hopefully he can start getting, some playmakers because Mike Evans takes away the main attention with Mike Evans being the number 1. Now you have AB being a number 2. He should be one-on-one matchups. Got to start taking advantage of the deep ball. That's what this Bucs team is made for. You've got downfield threats, Mike Evans, Gronk. You've got downfield quarterback at the helm, Tom Brady. He can still air it out. The arm is still good. So Bucs at number 4. Their defense wasn't as good as everybody else was making it out to be. I mean, they still let Daniel Jones potentially almost tie up the game right at the end of the game. So Bucs definitely got to clean out the defense a little bit, but Monday Night Football on the road, not going to be a flawless game. So we'll move the Bucs into number 4. I mean, their weapons are truly just out of this world. It's kind of sickening to look at how good their weapons are. So we put the Bucs at number 4. All right, number 3, we are going to move the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, they're back. We know this team is very highly explosive. It's just sometimes they catch a snag where they don't even perform until the fourth quarter or something happens. But this Chiefs team, they're very good offensively, obviously. Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, a killer combination of just sheer speed. Patrick Mahomes with his legs, Tyreek Hill with his legs, Patrick Mahomes with the speed that he can just fling the ball 40 yards down the field. So Tyreek Hill, is still wide open by the time the ball gets to him. So, I mean, there's just so much speed. There's so much great defense as well. Tyrann Mathieu, one of the best safeties in the league, in my opinion. Big on him. Hey, 1 second. I'm going to sneeze. I mean, the Chiefs, they gave up no first downs in the second half. That's absolutely fantastic defense. At home, they put up the points, 5 touchdowns. They did everything that they were supposed to do against a lackluster Jets team. Put up the points, put up the touchdowns. Don't give up too many. 35 points, 5 touchdowns against 9 points, no touchdowns. Exactly what the Chiefs needed to do last week. They went out and did it. Got to rock with them. They're defending champions for a reason. Andy Reid's a great coach. They've got all the pieces in place, folks. They speak for themselves. This Kansas City Chiefs team speaks for itself, so we move them up to number 3. All right, number 2 is going to be the Seattle Seahawks. What an impressive win, kind of bouncing back from their lackluster performance 2 weeks ago against the Cardinals, where Russell Wilson threw 3 interceptions, and they only still lost by 3 points. So Seattle comes out. They absolutely obliterate the 49ers. They knocked Jimmy Garoppolo out of the game. So we move the Seahawks up into number 2. They're just one of the most consistent teams in the league, folks. I mean, when you're throwing those interceptions and you still only lose by 3 points, no other team has done that. So well done to the Seahawks. They got back on track. Russell Wilson, 4 touchdowns, no picks. We knew he wasn't going to stay throwing interceptions. We knew that. DK Metcalf is back. Took last week off to let Tyler Lockett get some good touches, but he's back here with 2 touchdowns and 136 yards receiving. So Seahawks are back. The defense, very well done. A little bit of a quarterback switch midway through. Nick Mullins, anytime there's a quarterback change, it's going to give teams trouble. That's just what it is, because you game plan for a certain quarterback. You know what that quarterback does good. So now last second switch, quarterback comes in. Then, they kind of throw off the game plan a little bit. So I'm not going to penalize the Seattle Seahawks for giving up, 27 points. They still won by 10. That's a great win. That's a huge win. Very close on the fence of a blowout, 10 points. I would say 14 points is a definite blowout, but between the 10 and 14, there's some gray area. But Seattle is so very good. They're still very good. They will always be very good because they're consistent. Pete Carroll, Russell Wilson, they know how to win. They know what it takes, and they do everything that it takes to win on an every game Sunday basis. So we move the Seahawks up into number 2, and then that leaves the Steelers still at number 1. I mean, 7-0, only undefeated team left in the league. They beat the Titans, and they just beat the Ravens. Huge matchups. Great wins for them. Big Ben is cleaning it up. He didn't turn the ball over last week or against the Ravens. The defense forced 4 turnovers. We're going to be watching them tomorrow, folks, so relax. We're going to be talking about the Steelers defense this week. So we're going to leave the Steelers at number 1. Best team in the league, undefeated. Big Ben, defense, Mike Tomlin, everything is coming together. You just beat the Ravens. That's a huge win. We'll see what they've got going on for the rest of their schedule, but so far 7-0, looking real good. We're going to keep the Steelers at number 1. Love what they're doing. So that's what we got in our power rankings. Dolphins at 10, Ravens at 9, Rams at 8, Packers at 7, Titans at 6, Cardinals at 5, Bucks at 4, Chiefs at 3, Seahawks at 2, and Steelers at 1. Now, before I get so much flack, let me tell you outside looking in. Who's number 11, 12, and 13, and all that jazz. Bills are definitely outside looking in. You can put them 11, 12, 13. Doesn't really matter to me. We just know that Josh Allen needs to step up more, and we haven't seen that these last really 4 weeks. I mean, those 2 losses and this last win, still not looking good. So Bills just outside the top 10 for those reasons. Who else do we got? Browns, I mean, they're pretenders. Baker Mayfield has been struggling these past 2 weeks. They will get nowhere near the top 10. Colts, they're pretenders. Phillip Rivers against lesser competition. He performs well. That's what we know. So not going to put the Colts in until they start proving themselves a little bit. Packers already in the top 10. Chiefs in the top 10. Rams in the top 10. Dolphins in the top 10. Saints outside looking in. Definitely. I get it. I want to know what's going to happen with Michael Thomas. I think he's going to be traded by the end of today, folks. We'll look at it in just a second if anything's broken. But I like the Saints, just outside looking in. They can put up the points. They're putting up 26 points, kind of consistently without Michael Thomas or Emmanuel Sanders. That's huge for them. But I just feel like I've seen the same Saints team before these last 3 seasons where they keep getting hosed in the playoffs. So we're holding off judgment on the Saints team outside looking in. They kind of need to prove themselves a little bit more than kind of other teams need to. It's a little unfair, but I mean, I've already bought into the Saints team for the last 3 seasons, folks. I can't keep doing it every year. year, because that is the definition of insanity. Bears, outside looking in, no, because Nick Foles cannot be even productive a little bit. So Bears not even top 15 in my opinion. 49ers just knocked out. I mean, when they're healthy, then we can start talking about them. But until then, they're going to definitely be not even near outside looking in. Cowboys, Eagles, nowhere close. Ravens, Steelers, both in. Chargers, Broncos, nowhere near it. They need to be more consistent. Bucks in it, Giants not. So Cardinals in it, Washington not. Jaguars not. Texans maybe outside looking in if they can get their offense kind of together. They're 1-2 off of, coaches firing, so got to step that up a little bit. But, that's what we've got so far this week. Our top 10 power rankings, here they are.